hit that subscribe button. Let's get started.
Well, hello. I don't know if y'all can hear me. I'm going to try to use this mic tonight because I'll be doing some live streaming from the other side over at the craft area, I guess you can call it. Got my airbrush stuff set up over there. So got a couple different cameras now. So the one you're seeing me on down there, and then I'll switch cameras here shortly when I go over there and we'll get started. And we shall do a little airbrushing. So if you're seeing this, you want to drop some comments. When I get over there, I'll have to turn on my stream over there and make sure that I'm not getting feedback and make sure this is working. So I've got a few things going here. So let me put some stuff on pause and make sure everything is working, and then we'll move over to the actual airbrush section there, and we'll get started. So again, if you have any questions while we're doing this, when I get over there, I'll know if I can see the comments or anything. I won't be able to type back to you, but I will be able to see your comment and maybe answer your question as it happens. So we'll get started. I'm just going to do a little airbrushing on some things I've been working on. So if you have comments, you can ask. If not, I'll be still sitting here airbrushing, and we'll turn it into a recorded video. So with that, I'm going to close out this camera and I'll switch to the other one. So hang tight. Yeah, I probably shouldn't do that, should I, David? Now, let me see if I can somebody let me know if you can still hear me over here. I try to bring my stream up on my iPad, and that way I can at least see the comments as they come in. Maybe I think this will work. Let's see here. Why is the camera not showing? Hold on one second. Let me see why my camera is not working. Over here, it worked for a second. I think I know the answer, but make a quick change real quick. Run it through multiple different wires and stuff. It just, I have to go all the way around the room to get over here. So see if we get a connection there. See if let me switch to it. Okay, there we go. We're back on now. Okay. David says audio's good. I appreciate you, David, for letting me know. It's weird when you sit and watch a stream, you actually see stuff, you know, a little bit later, and it's like, hold on, I just moved my hand. My hand didn't move. What's going on with that? So, you know, these black gloves, I can't imagine somebody trying to put on a set of these black gloves to try to do anything. I mean, OJ put on black gloves, just saying. So, let me see if I can blow this up. There we go. Doesn't want to. Got too much stuff going on over here, you know. And I don't know how this is going to work with the air compressor back over there whenever I start spraying. So, I mean, can you see my little gremlin here? Got to finish doing a little work on him. So, figured I'd test out some theories here. I tested out the theory earlier, and I like how it turned out here with this copper color into covering up some of that tan and stuff like that. I did need to work on the mouth and all that kind of stuff. So, I've got my homemade solution. It's actually off camera. This jar of stuff right here. This is um, distilled water, glycol, and a vegetable-based glycol, and then some rinse aid. Certain amount. This guy he made up his own kind, which allows me to spray without having a vent and all that stuff. And granted, I do know that stuff would sort of be blowing around and all that stuff, but it's not like I'm using uh, paint thinner or something like that to cut my paint. So I'm not too worried about it. I need to figure out. I think that pink right there is a little too pink to do what I want to do here. Yeah, let's go with it. Probably still need to open it up. So I know it's hard to see probably colors wise, but because that white balance on that camera is pretty bright over there. It's got, so I start off with this one airbrush. I hope I just didn't like rub pink on my forehead there. I go with my old trusty here. It's my one I started off with 5 days ago. So been spraying with it for 5 days, and it's crazy. Amazon showed up today and brought me 2 more different little air guns. I'm just saying. Y'all don't tell my wife, but she might be watching. But just in case she is, you don't necessarily need to know all that. Not like she can walk in here and see it, by the way. So we're gonna put just a little bit of paint down in there and put the cap on that. Set it back in our little stand over here while we get everything ready. Close up our jar of paint. Always make sure you clean your tip of your paint so it don't dry on there, because it does make it a bugger to try to get it out of there. So we've got a little bit of pink in there. It might be a little bit too pink. We're gonna see though. So the biggest thing I've found about airbrushing, like I said, the last couple of days, when I first started it, I was like, gosh, it's so hard to control the pattern. You get close to get a fine line and you move off to get a fan going, but you can also dial on most of your your airbrushes. You've got a little dial back here. Most of the better ones have this little dial. You can dial it all the way in to really restrict the flow. And what it does is these are all dual action. You push down for air and back for paint. And so if you turn this all the way in, it restricts it and it don't let it come back as far. So when it does that, you really have a little bit of paint coming out. So that's how you learn how to do your controlled stuff. Now it's gonna be hard from the angle you guys are at up there to actually see what I'm doing here. You might be able to see it. I can try to scoot over here and try to do it on this side so y'all can see a little bit as I do it. But so I'm gonna start off, I'm gonna dial it all the way in, which you can hear I've turned on my air. You can see that the air, I ain't even touching the button. And if I was to pull back, it's locked all the way forward. So it won't let no paint out. Now if I dial it back just a little bit, it shuts that off. And now, as you can see, there's nothing on my glove. Let me dial it back just a touch. We'll get just a little bit of paint coming out here. And I'll show you how fine the lines you can make what these things are. So there you can see a really fine line. Not a lot of paint put on there, so that's what we want. We want to control the paint where we're putting it at on this. So, let me run over here real quick and bring up an image on my computer that I can reference because, gosh, I don't know if I can. Let me see if it'll let me do this. Oh yeah, I can do it on this other monitor. So I can see what I'm using as a reference photo here. Just get a general idea. Okay, so I need to do, I really need to do a lot on the inside of Gremlin's mouth, not on Gizmo so much. I need to put a little bit over here on Gizmo's ear. So let me try to get a little bit of that in there. I want to do it, I guess it's wanting to do some on the highlights. Again, I'm right-handed, so I have to be this way. Unfortunately, I'll let y'all see it before I do it here, get an idea, and then I'll show you again. We'll see what we've added here. So I add a little bit of detail in here just to maybe pink up the area a little bit. Let me turn it up just a little bit more. Not getting as much as I want in there. And of course, the way to test that's with a napkin. Stick it up there, and once you make adjustments, you do it on a napkin to see what you're getting. There we go. Okay, so let's try to add a little bit in here now. There we go. Guess I could have brought it over there to y'all so you could see it really good. I'm just trying to add a little bit of pink highlights into the areas here on the ear. Just giving it like a flesh texture, Trying to put some areas in there that's highlights. And that's it's a whole other thing. I haven't learned anything about highlighting and all that stuff. There's so much stuff, to learn about this stuff that you just can't do it in a couple of days. I'll just tell you all that right now. So as I'm doing this, can you see there on camera? I'll let that catch up for a second so I can see that y'all are looking at what I'm doing. I'm adding some pink right over in these areas right here on the main parts of the ears, trying to give it a veiny type deal there. So just trying to do that. Let me see here. So again, it's one of those things where, I'm one of those people who, if I decide that, hey, this is what I want to do, I want to try something out, blah, 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 I'll go try something out, just to see what it is. So again, this is not something I've ever done before, and just had all these models and tried to paint them by hand. And my wife's a much better craft person than I am, I'll tell you all that. She knows how to do all that dry brushing and all that stuff, and I'm just like, I just can't figure that stuff out good. So I decided that, hey, what would it be like to airbrush it? So I think that's enough right in there. Don't want to get too much and don't want to get too crazy with it. So let me turn on my little low light here. See if that doesn't blind you guys. See if I can see some of the areas I need to see here. Okay, I need to try to get some pink on the tongue here of Gremlin. So again, it's one of those things. Any comments here? Oh, I can tell you. And they're using that. So David's question or statement is, don't see how women work in nail salons. It gives me a major headache. Yeah, all that different stuff that they used. Gosh, what do you call it? Paint thinner. To cut down the paints and all that stuff. I can see how it would be an issue for sure. You just got some paint in there. So turn it just a little bit more. We're getting paint. So there's all kind of things of whenever you're painting. So let me crank it wide open a little bit, get some to come out. There we go, get it flowing again. What happens is as your air blows across your very tip right there, it'll actually blow it. If you're, especially when you're doing it real slow, it'll dry the paint on your tip of your airbrush and it'll won't let it come through. So yeah, now I'm gonna tune it back down. I don't want to go really thick and not control it. So yeah, it's just a matter of controlling that paint. And I mean, I don't know, I find it pretty relaxing to sit here, especially whenever once you figure it out, you know, once you figure a little bit of it out and go, okay, that's not as bad as I thought it can be, and don't have paint like all over the place. I mean, I'll tell you, you know, the first couple of things I did, I was like, how do you control this stuff? I just, you know, yeah, I know it comes with books and you're supposed to read them, but like, I'm a guy, we don't do that. So just one of those guys that when I pick it up and do something with it, it's supposed to work, you know? Okay, so he's showing some pink around his gum area too. I'm gonna really turn it down now to really dial in some detail. I don't know, can y'all see that up in there? Let me turn my little light on it. I'm trying to get some pink up into the tongue area. And that's another thing about 3D printing. When you 3D print, it builds it in layers. It goes around and, you know, does all this stuff and it comes up in a layer. So there's these layer lines and you'll see, I'll bring the camera down here in a little bit and get up real close and show you all the layer lines. It's really hard to get paint down into those areas sometimes. And it's just, you could sit there and put a ton of paint, but it just won't fill it up for some reason. So let me go with a little detail right here. And so therefore it starts clogging up when you stop and all that stuff, but it really starts you put a lot trying to cover up that area because it keeps soaking in the layer lines and you're just filling it full and it's not going to do anything. It's not going to do what you want it to do, and it's only going to frustrate you because now you're sitting there going, dang, look how much paint I got in here and it just ain't working. So get these gums down here a little bit. So I mean, it's just one of those things where, like I was saying, now that I've got the basic concepts, granted, I don't know how to do all that crazy stuff yet on the way some of these guys can blend and all that stuff. I mean, those guys have been doing it for a while. Once you figure all that stuff out, then, you know, I'm sure stuff gets a little bit easier, but I find it, you know, relaxing and to the point of just got to figure it out. You know, don't be scared to stick your paint gun in there and just do it, because the worst case scenario is you get a little paint somewhere else and you got to go back and touch it up. It ain't no big thing. So they make a airbrush for, right? So there's some base pink and it's super bright right now just because it's a bright pink I'm using. So now what I'll do is, if you notice right here, my green's not all the way up to the pink and my pink's not all the way down to my green. So I've got an area there in between that I'll probably come in with a lighter pink maybe if I don't have a lighter pink, I'll have to take this pink and add a couple drops of white, mix it up real good, make it a little bit lighter shade, and try to blend that area over. It's just what you figure out you got to do. Just a little bit of faded pink on Gizmo's areas a little bit, maybe. And yeah, I'm looking at my reference photos here. So I've got a big photo on the screen of what I guess whoever printed this thing, it was they did a painting, and I could bring their rendering up. It's really nice on the screen. Show y'all. Give a little bit of pink into Gizmo's mouth there. Really turn it down here and see if I can get a little bit cast onto the eyelids. Probably need to try out that new gun over there, you know. Yeah, I like that. Put a little pink around the, here, let me put this over here, and I can't let it sit there too long without cleaning it out. Let me hold this up to the camera so y'all can get a little bit better of idea. Let me see where the camera's at here. Put a little light on it. So you see that sparkle stuff that I did earlier? I just had a little pink around his eye and all that stuff. So that real pink in the mouth there is going to get toned down a little bit, but you just got to get a good base going. So, and then when you see we've added a little pink to the ears there. So still a few things that, again, you just got to learn it as you go and go, okay, so that's how you blend this, you blend that, and all that stuff. So yeah, I'll still have to, since I got to do white still, I'll be able to touch back up that pink where I got on Gizmo's face a little bit there. So let me see if that's all the pink I have over. Let me get a little bit back here in the back and inside the mouth area. You know, if we just had a little bit more light or something. But yeah, I just do it for fun, you know, just I like the challenge of seeing if I can do it, to be honest with you. And you all know what I already said, how a lot of that other stuff got burned out on some things and just got tired of posting about the same old thing there on the true crime side. And with all the craziness in the true crime community, I don't have time to deal with all that crap. I got better things to do in my life than to drag other people down and all that stuff. So I'm done with all them people and that stuff. You know, I'll still talk to everybody. I'll still give input, you know, still be involved, but not ain't dealing with the craziness. I don't have time for all that drama. I did it for all my life and got time to worry about some new badass news or some bullshit crap. So, you know, that's that. So find something else I like to do with my time. So now we got to do a little clean out on our brush here. So I've got a pour jug here that I can pour stuff into, but I've got a spray out canister over here, and you're supposed to spray some stuff to it. So again, that's my water solution from out of that jar. So we'll spray it in here, open up the machine all the way, the needle, spray it a few times, move your trigger back and forth, and that trigger is what traps, the trigger is what controls the needle, and the needle is what catches the paint and clogs up your machine. So you run it back and forth, let it just blow that stuff out, and loosen up everything on the needle. So that's what we're doing here. And we'll open it all the way, hold it wide open, shake it, get all that stuff out of there. Check it, we got all that. We'll give it a little squirt more. Run the rest of it again. This is how you do a color change. And so you sort of want to figure out, and it takes a couple times of doing it. You'll figure out, okay, I need about this much paint to do this, and I've got paint cups there you see right here of where I've mixed up colors doing different things. And they're probably mostly dry today because I did it yesterday, but at least I know what my colors are. You should always, you start doing this, you should have a brush. And that right there is actual brush cleaner in that thing. You need to be able to, I did one step a little early here. You clean out my bucket first, but you take and clean out your tip, and you just use a good paintbrush. Unfortunately, you got to have a good paintbrush to get down in there, clean it out, blow all that stuff out. And then you're going to take your paper towel, put a little bit down into the bowl there, and you're going to twist it and get all the extra out and remove any of your extra paints. That's how you clean it. Now it's nice and clean, and we'll spray it out again. Get just a little bit of color out of it, so when we go to clean it for the night, we'll get all that stuff out of there. But right now we're just switching colors. So let me figure out what color. So I know his eye is bright red, and his teeth are like an off-white color, like a bone white. But I need to get a little bit of white and tune up some other things. So let's switch over to white. Throw a little bit of white in here and fix some of this stuff, and also try to tone down his mouth a little bit. We're going to throw a little white on it. So we don't need much, so I'm just going to put it right into the bowl here. Give us a little bit, and then we'll give it maybe 2 drops of water. 2 squirts of water, rather. Now, there's a way you can, normally you'd stir it up over there, and there's a way that you can take, and you want to turn your machine all the way down, just a little bit comes out. You want to take a towel here and plug your needle, and normally you'd want to put your lid on here just to keep from blowing this all over the place, and you pop your needle a couple times, and what it does is it bubbles back in there, and it mixes your thinner, which again, mine's non-VOC'd thinner, and your paint right there in your bucket. It blows back into it and bubbles up. I can see it trying to come out the sides. So I'll spray it a little bit there, release the pressure. And now we've got our paint's good and stirred up a little bit there. I didn't clean out all that paint out this lid. So again, it's a learning experience. So any comments down there? Okay. I'm gonna keep going then. Okay, we just need a little bit of white there. A black glove is a great test subject, just so you know. It's just easy. You can see what your spray pattern looks like. Try to black out a little bit of that. I got to get this pink over here covered up. Here in between the separator of them. Add a little bit more to his area around his eyes and stuff too. Get a full good white out on them. Scoot up a little bit more there. A little closer to the subject we're working on here. Yeah, I just find it enjoyable just to sit here and try to learn something new and try to figure stuff out. Anybody coming in right now? I already know how many people's in here. But anybody coming in new? Yeah, I just started doing this 5 days ago, so learning as I go here. I know there's some white there. Yeah, there is some white right here on this long stretch of. I guess what I'll try to do sometime is I may take and move my camera back up over here so that you guys can see it a lot easier. I've got it on that side of the room. I may have to bring it in from the other side because unfortunately I'm right-handed, so I have to. There's no way I could do this left-handed, that's for sure. So let me try to cover up some of that. Check my pattern here. I don't know if you can see. I bought a little setup where the little compressor's right there. It's a little square box. I ain't got like a mini air compressor right here. These things, I got it on the lowest setting right now and it blows out fine. If I really need to clean out my machine or something, I can take and turn the compressor on a lot higher and all that stuff. So make some adjustments. Plus, two newest airbrushes have controllers on them, so I can control the pressure a little bit better than I can on this one. See, I just got a little bit too much there. So I have to come back and maybe tune that up some way. It's all about that control of your spray pattern and all that stuff. So once you figure out how to control that spray pattern, it makes things so much easier and it's not as frustrating and all that good stuff. So if you're coming in and you have a comment, a question, comment, whatever, drop them in there. And as soon as I turn around and see them, I'll try to answer them for you. And it's one of those things where I don't know who all's in here. Could be by myself. Either way, I'm making a video that I want to make. So no big thing. People have other things to do besides sit and watch me airbrush. but it helps in my trying to get my channel to grow. Can't grow your channel if you're not putting out content. And that's another thing, you know, I've said it before, is I want to start making my own content, and doing stuff and growing my channel. So that's why I'm doing this. And even though you know, a lot of you guys know that know me from X and all that stuff, you know, I follow JLR and all those guys, and I don't want nobody to say that, oh, you got followers because of JLR, blah blah blah. So I want to do this sort of on my own. I mean, I would get on their channel and talk and chat and all that stuff at some point if they wanted me to come on or something like that. But you know, hey, I do want to grow my channel myself, so that it's my work and my passion, desire to get there. You know, get some followers, and get people to start sharing me out, and get people interested in my content. So that's my overall goal. Doing it for me, not for other people. Well, people in my life, yes, but not doing it for other people on the web or anything like that. So, you know, I'm sure a lot of y'all have seen some of my content lately and have been like, what the hell is this guy up to? He's posting all kind of stuff, posting what people want to see. I have limits. I won't go as far as posting something that's obviously illegal or something that I feel is to the point where it's questionable or anything like that. But I'll post content that people want to see and people are willing to sit and watch it and help my content get out there. When you post a video and it gets 1.9 million views, I guess it is right now, that's the kind of content that you want to post. And I don't care what people say. If that's what people want to see and they're willing to share it because of that, I will post it. Just being real, folks. And if you want your page to grow, find your limits and decide what you're willing to post. You know, people know that, yeah, I'm monetized on X, and I do it I post stuff for the content, for the views and all that stuff. And I appreciate every single one of you who share my stuff, repost it, blah blah blah. And I've told y'all many times, tag me in your stuff if it's something that, you know, I can help y'all get out. Tag me in it. And, you know, let me take a look at it. I'm willing to help you share your stuff out. I repost people's stuff all the time. More than willing to help. Y'all are what got me where I'm at on my channels and stuff like that. So just saying. I know some people want to paint me as a kind of different person, but I'm willing to help anybody. Till you really just push my buttons and want to see how far you can take it with me, and then I have no problem pushing back. Just no different than anybody else, you know. I'm just doing what I got to do in this world to survive and all that good stuff. So, no new questions? Okay. Again, it doesn't matter if there's anybody in here or not. I'm making a video whether I have people here or not. So again, I just want to let people see that somebody may be looking for a new hobby or something like that. Airbrushing is a lot of fun. So I'm just trying to learn it. So Gizmo's it's a little bit of a challenge here. What does his eye do? So it's all black. He's got some brown. Okay, let me. It's got some brown around the bottom too. Get a little bit more white down here. Yeah, when you really start figuring out your control, your pen and stuff, your paintbrush, your airbrush. That's what I'm trying to say, airbrush. Start trying to figure all that stuff out. You really finally are able to dial it in and control it. Makes it so much easier to do stuff. So that's where we're at right now. Yeah, I need to get a little bit more white over here in the corner. I can see. Let's see if I can move over here and bring my light around. There we go. Let's try that for a second. Let me turn it up just a touch. A little white into this area. Oh, look at how that is. Green effect to it. So let me put a little white in here. Tip try there. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the biggest thing is just, again, learning to control your airflows and all that stuff. Once you figure all that part out, the rest of it becomes a lot easier when you're trying to get that pinpoint stuff, paint into the right location. Well, that's not this brown. Okay. What's going on here? There we are. Okay. A lot of white in here, so I turned it up a little bit to really cover this area. Problem is when you get really thick, it doesn't take much to have blowout and get all of over the surrounding area around there. You gotta be really careful. So, and again, right here's that stuff I was talking about where it's hard to get it to seat. It's because the 3D print lines are right there, and it just don't matter what you do, you just can't fill those in. It's all part of the prime and prep and all that stuff. So it's a whole different deal you would have to do to prep all that. Turn down some go back into this eye right here. I'll put a little bit more on his eye. Any comments? Okay, I'll keep going here. Oh, that blew all over the place. I guess it got white in it, so I don't know what the deal is with that. That's what happens when you don't check it before you make that change. You think you got it one way and end up blowing it all over the place. So I have to go in there with some black, which I got to do black again here in a little bit anyway. So got to get right down in between his mouth there. So I'll fix that eyeball. I think that's all the whites that we needed. And then Gremlin's got some black spots all over his ear. His whole body's got black all around it. So what fun, what fun. Okay, so that's white. Let me clean this out first, and then I'll show y'all some of the ones I did previously, some of the stuff I've been working on that I've been doing off camera. I've been waiting on this extra camera up there to get here, and you know, I've got video of it. I did it with my Insta360, so I have to put together a video for y'all on that when I was spraying some of these other ones. So I'll put together some videos with all that stuff. Okay, so do a little color change here. Get that out of there. Squirt some more water in there. Yeah, I was thinking about starting to stream to Facebook as well, but I don't know. Not sure about that. Should really be using the pot, not that it matters, but still. Okay. Let me see. How long have we been going, does it say? Somebody give me a comment on how long the stream's been going, please. Shouldn't be too long, what, maybe 30 minutes at the most. Oh. Now, David, if you're still here, you didn't tell me to clean off the tip of my white whenever I added it to my bucket. If it's dry, it's your fault. Just saying. There we go. There's the white. Put that back in a little bit. Let me see here. Let me see what I can bring down here and show you. Okay. So this is a gremlin that I did a while back, and I added some of that same green that I did this gremlin with. I did it to highlight some of the areas and his horns and all that stuff. So did that. So he's, I guess I could have did his teeth and all that stuff while I had that white out, but hey, sometimes you don't think of things, but it changes colors, and I like how it looks. It gives it that, you know, different look. I need to go in there and do his whole ear up in there in that tan. again, now that I've been painting a couple days, I can see things different. I can see the shadowing and all that stuff, how it, where it's supposed to be and all that stuff. So that's a gremlin that's got to be worked on. Here is the Hulk that I greened up earlier. I'll be doing him on stream here soon. So I got his green base down. So we'll be doing some of that. Getting him done. Here's a new Batman that some of y'all on X may have seen me. I printed it today. There's Batman on that side. There's Joker on that side. So we'll be, at some point, we'll be painting him. I got to do some touch-ups on his body stuff. There's some damage right there from the support that's stuck. So I still got to clean him up. Got to clean up his ear there. It looks like it's got supports on it. This is one you're going to be seeing. This is Captain America. I got him blued and got some of his stuff done the other day. I've got camera footage of that one as I painted it. So that was like the second day that I was a airbrusher. So I got the reds and all that stuff. So I got to do all the whites in here, do some different blues up in here. Got to clean up this area up in here still. Just the print was bad. I got his chin strap and all this stuff in here is supposed to be brown. So just got to, and again, since I did him, I've been learning a little bit of control. I printed off this one yesterday. RoboCop, gonna be doing him. Got to touch up some of his mess ups from print. Printing's not perfect every time. Sometimes you have flaws that come in on your print and all that stuff. It's just whether support's right. So I'm gonna have to resin his chin there and fix him up a little bit. Here's the Flash we got to do. I may go back and print him over because his arm messed up on the print. So just different things. The printer's not perfect every time. So I got many more up there. I've got some of these guys, Michael Myers to do, Jason Voorhees to paint. So we're gonna be doing that one. Not just bumped the camera. So I've got a ton of things I've printed. I've still got a lot more that I hadn't even shown y'all yet. Check out this shelf I did yesterday. This one I bronzed. And this thing is going to go back here. I'm going to move my military police thing. And I'm going to put my, see if I'm seeing him on the stream here. Get him in the camera fully. This is a shelf that I bronzed. So I didn't realize my camera was a lot higher than that. So, but I think that turned out pretty cool. So there you go. Here's a good shot of it. I just saw it on the stream live. So I got all that stuff to do. And again, I'm just working on stuff as I go. And so I wanted to try out this stream setup, see how it worked out, see what y'all thought about that, see if y'all could see enough to do stuff. And then I need to go back and finish touching up my bald eagle here. This is like one of my very first days of painting. I think I posted some pictures on X of this one. So he's getting there. I got to fix some flaws and all that stuff. And now that I'm learning stuff, I'm gonna go try some different things on the bald eagle. And of course, I got Spider-Man. Spider-Man's pretty huge. He turned out pretty good to be a first thing I ever airbrushed in my life. I have to hold him up. He's on a stand, so I can take him off the stand. Now you can see him. Hopefully my fingerprints ain't getting on him. So he's on the Empire State Building there. And he's pretty tall. He's about 2.5 foot tall. So yeah, we got a ton of things to do, y'all. So y'all just gonna have to stay on this stream, you know, whenever I start streaming. Turn on your notifications for me, and we will definitely get some stuff done. Let me switch cameras back over here to my other side. Let me turn this camera off for a second. Bam. Let me turn on my stuff over there. See if I can gotta bring my chair back. Okay, back over here in the coach's seat. How long we been on? We've been on for almost 1 hour. I'll go a couple minutes and then I'll do it at 1 hour. So let me see if I can bring up this. I want to share my screen. See if it will let me show you all these image that here we go. This is the that is what it's supposed to end up like. Again, that's whoever designed this, and you can see this is actually inside of a 3D printer right there. So, but that's their rendition of what this image, their idea is. So I need to add some browns and stuff like that. See how they added this, like this off green color? But their gizmo, I mean, their print is definitely different than mine. Mine don't have the hair features like this one does, the fuzzy look to it. I guess I could glue a little bit of fur or something on there. But yeah, that's what it should end up looking like. So again, I'm not that far advanced yet. I'm learning how to do all this stuff. So as I learn how to do that stuff, then we shall maybe get a little bit more advanced. Definitely gonna do the red eyes though. So turn that off, and got about 1.5 minutes. So thanks. It looks like I've had 58 people who have watched it, whether it be on YouTube or X. So again, I plan on doing a lot more of these as I'm doing it, as I'm learning to airbrush and all that stuff. So hopefully you guys become interested and decide y'all want to come hang out with me and ask me questions while I'm airbrushing, and I get better and all that stuff, and I learn as I watch YouTube videos on how to do stuff. So, you know, I appreciate you guys being here. Yeah, that's all I got on that. Again, I plan on doing a lot more streams. So, you know, if you guys like this kind of stuff, give me some comments. Let me know what you thought. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, everyone, and I will see you on the next live stream. Thank you to everyone that supports my adventures with your subscription to my photography content on X at Hotwire405.